Hello, fellas.
Hey,
Today
Drew.
we've a very special guest. So, how about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, g'day guys. My name's Andrew. I am an Australian traditional archer and musician. Um, Not much more to say. Yeah, I go by the name of Nocturnal Archer on Instagram. Um, I'm legally blind with a condition called rod monochromatism. Um, and yeah, amongst other things, archery is fairly recent, and I've been a musician for most of my life, and currently studying to be a primary school music teacher, doing my Masters of Education in Melbourne.
So that's all really cool stuff. Like you're
Yeah,
a
that's
very
awesome,
interesting
man.
guy.
Yeah.
Like I obviously know you from your Instagram, and I've told the guys about it. Um,
Mm.
yeah, like you post archery daily, and yeah, with a weird twist. Uh, like you're legally blind, but you're doing archery. So how has it
Yeah.
affected your archery experience?
Well, it affects everything I do. Just like the way that we all experience the world uniquely affects what we do, and for me, like taking up archery, I wasn't really sure how it was going to uh, affect it. Um, I haven't been practicing archery for terribly long. I take a lot of inspiration from Fred Bear, the founder of Bear Archery, and
A
he
brilliant guy.
took up archery. Yeah, quite an old school legend, sort of documentary filmmaker, kind of like an American David Attenborough if David Attenborough hunted polar bears, and with a bow and arrow, like.
Yeah.
But he's a conservationist at the same time, hunting elephants and things like that. But yeah, he took up archery at the age of 30, and so I take a lot of solace in that. But to be honest, I didn't know how it would go. I only knew that totally blind people practice archery, and that there's always a way to adapt and find something that works for you. I mean, archery, especially traditional archery, has that sort of philosophy built right into it, I think. It's, you often hear that phrase, like you just have to try it and figure out what works for you. There's only so many ways you can do it, but yeah, you'd be surprised with the kind of ways you can adapt, and uh, having a lifetime of experience adapting to those sort of things that might not necessarily lend itself to vision impaired
Mm.
um, people, but I don't know if I was drawn to it to prove something to myself. These kind of things like martial arts and photography, or if they're just things that I naturally were drawn to anyway, and want to find a way to make it work. And I think it's probably the latter.
Yeah. No. And that's really impressive. Like in all fairness, you shoot better than a lot of people who can see different colors. No, I've obviously watched you shoot a few times, and you're like really good. You're very specific to bear archery. Obviously, like you like the guy who founded them, and you love the product.
Yeah, I just think they're the first bows I got into, and like I said, it hasn't been a very long journey yet, so there's still plenty of time. There are just so many amazing bowyers around, and the Bear Archery Company has probably one of the longest histories, and it's particular to America. Like, for example, we don't get a lot of bear bows in Australia. We certainly don't have them lying around in attics and basements and secondhand shops and stuff like they do in the States and in Canada. So I think, personally, I just fell in love with the whole history of them, the fact that they were designs that hadn't really changed from the days when people were bow hunting, with these bows being the pinnacle of technology at the time. And, there's nothing wrong with compound and all that sort of stuff, but I like traditional bows. And so I decided to start my archery journey, let's say, with bear, because they had a history, and I could see that it was a history strongly rooted in bow hunting, and that is kind of the direction I had in mind ultimately. So I'm running out of space to put them, to store them, but there's always room for more. And I'm keen to, to add to the collection. It's what drew me to archery. I just love the bow, the traditional bow. It's a beautiful instrument, and it's got these kind of remarkable links to music as well. So for me, it's this kind of fusion between my music and my martial arts and archery and firing projectiles and all that sort of good stuff. So, I think that's what it is.
How does it relate to your music, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, look, this is all just a little bit of theory at the moment. I think there's further research needs to be done. But if you look at cultures that have traditional stringed instruments in them, like simple harps, like the beer barum, I believe it is. It's an African instrument. It basically is a bow with a gourd at the end, and the string is struck. And so any instrument that has a string, comes from the same principles of making a bow. So you find that those cultures have a history of archery as well. And cultures that don't have a history of, and bear in mind, this is all just theory, that don't have stringed instruments tend not to have archery. They use other projectile weapons, and when you look at a bow, it is just what do you play a violin with? You play it with a bow. It's exactly a bow. A guitar uses the same kind of principles as a bow, and even a piano does. You tune a bow just like you tune a guitar. You shorten, lengthen the string, and until the bow finds its ideal note, you could say, and you would be able to measure that note with a tuning device, just like you could tune a musical instrument. There's
I never would have thought about it like that.
Yeah, neither have I. I was going to say that's like the nicest way I've ever heard anyone explain how a fiddle is played.
We've had a good few archers on now at this point.
Yeah.
We had recently it was bowyer Jack Pinson. He's a longbow maker. He's great.
Oh yeah.
So we always talk about making bows, but we never thought of it like that.
No, that was.
Well, yeah, it's just one of those weird shower thoughts when you that's come to me, and I'm like, hang on a second, there might be something to this. And I mean, a lot of especially traditional archers, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of them play music. Like there's a lot of guitar strumming, harmonica playing, piano playing, traditional archery combos out there.
It's actually funny to point out. When I used to shoot traditional archery, I also played the guitar, and since I moved on, I haven't touched it.
There you go. There you go. More evidence that's mounting.
Give you some lessons.
Obviously, you don't gap shoot, you don't string walk. You shoot instinctively, don't you?
Well, yeah, that's the sort of philosophy that I approach it with. Yeah, and for me, that means like trying not to use my sight as my primary aiming mechanism. So probably a good time to just talk a bit about rod monochromatism. It's a condition that affects the cone cells in your eyes. So you have rod cells and cone cells, and rod cells are clustered right at the in the center at the back of the eye. Very dense cluster, and they see your long distance vision. They see your high detail vision. They are active during the day, so they react to light. They see color. Your cone cells are scattered around the perimeter of the back of the eye, and they're responsible for your peripheral vision. They're extremely light sensitive, and they are the cells that function in the dark, and they don't see color. They also have very low visual acuity, but they are very good at sensing movement. So in a way, like a nocturnal animal, like a possum, only has cone cells. Cone cells. Sorry, and so they're practically blind during the day, and that's pretty much where I'm at without any kind of vision aid, and I use like really dark, very red contact lenses and extremely dark sunglasses during the day. So the sunlight is one factor, and then the visual acuity is the other, and that's what really ends up classifying you as legally blind when you see at, now let me see if I get this right, 660 so what, or less, so what you would see at 60 meters I would see at less than 6. And so that's the kind of classification that stops you from driving and being recruited into the army and things like that. And but for me, it does mean that when the lights are out, I'm quite comfortable in the dark, and at the distances that traditional archery is practiced, I'm not picking out really fine detail, but I'm able to see enough to find the center of an object, like a 3D target or something like that. So we were talking about aiming. I think I try to rely on my my proprioception and kinesthetic awareness, which is like your ability to feel where your body is in space without seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if people didn't know, that's an extra sense that you actually have. Oh, like
it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I learned a bit about this when I was studying voice at the Queensland Conservatorium of Music, and they're very big on becoming aware of your body map, and it's particularly important in singing, but it's really important in anything, like knowing when you're playing tennis where the tennis racket is. It's almost like, not that I'm tennis is not my game, right? But I understand the concept, right? And I have hit one or two flukishly good tennis balls in my time, so I know the feeling of connecting with the middle of that racket. And it's almost as if you can feel that as an extension of your arm, and that's what I try to do with archery, like use the alignment of your body to really sort of just combine with what I'm seeing as a guide. Obviously, like I can't hit something I can't see, which is sometimes a problem. But the thing about traditional archery, and in particular traditional bow hunting, I think is just the notion that you don't have to take any shot at all. And for me, that's not the motivation. It's just to be out there and to hone a skill that, another crossover from music. It's just a skill that is clear. It takes a lifetime to get anywhere, and that's what I find really appealing about traditional archery and shooting instinctively as well, because I think it is the longest, kind of most frustrating road to go down.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Like the guys, obviously, I've never introduced them to do a bit of archery before, so you might not get everything just the same as I would. What was I going to say? The first time I ever came across you was a friend of mine sent me a picture, one of your pictures, and he's like, "This guy can shoot better in the dark." So I think actually I've had conversations with people and that's what they know you for. You ever see that archer who can shoot better in the dark?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't shoot
like
that great during the day, so yeah, almost. I'm pretty lousy during the day, but so it's not that much of an improvement, is what I'm getting at. But I definitely shoot better than I do in the day at night, and with the lights out. It's the odd thing about rod monochromatism, and one of the it is an advantage in the way that it gives you the ability to sort of experience things from a different perspective that's not necessarily always a massive hassle or anything like that. Crossing the road during the day is in a busy city like Melbourne is can be a bit frantic, and I use a cane, a white cane during those times. But at night time, when it's dark and it's just enough light to sort of see what's going on, it's a perspective I'm very comfortable with, and it wouldn't be any different from something that you could experience if you sort of shut your eyes off from any source of light for about half an hour or more, and then they adjusted to function purely on your cone cells, your rod cells, and then and then you switched on the lights, and it's pretty blinding for the first few seconds, but your eyes adjust, whereas mine don't adjust. So yeah,
to be honest.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be a pain, but it's really not a big deal at all, and it gives just that's a fairly obvious way that I see the world a bit differently, but it's really taught me that we all have those things. Sometimes it's not just one or two things, and sometimes they're not always obvious, but we all see things a little differently, and that's why it's important to find your own way no matter what. You don't have to necessarily have any better reason than that, I don't think.
Yeah. But that's another reason why like a lot of people obviously follow you and like you, because like you're making the best out of a not so ideal situation. Well, what's it been like for you, like growing on Instagram and people following you?
It's been just the greatest. I've like thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. I mean, I started traditional archery, totally alone, and I didn't immediately join a club because I'm not really competitive in that way. And to be honest, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to make it work. So I wanted time to figure these things out. But really, the reason I wanted to try and connect with people through Instagram was just to share in this this passion for archery. And the strange thing about, I don't know, it seems to be there are lots of like-minded people doing traditional archery, coaching themselves, and now there's some great online courses that you can do and stuff like that. But it's not like you can go down to the local archery club and always get informed instruction on how to shoot instinctively or how to shoot traditional bows. And so a lot of people are kind of, I think, connecting through social media to learn from each other and learn together. And that's been the greatest thing for me, is just, learning as a group of like-minded people passionate about traditional archery and all forms of archery. It's there's no elitism in archery, of course. like everyone's I have no no
people
preferences either way.
Like people just want to see you do well, and people want to learn from how you're learning, because obviously you have more obstacles in your way. So if they can learn from you and not have those obstacles,
Sure,
be handy for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's something about I don't know, the traditional archery community on Instagram, in particular, which is I've dabbled a bit.
You guys are so close.
On Reddit and a bit on YouTube, and it's a very friendly bunch. It's a really supportive group, and I've been really pleasantly surprised, because I've seen a bit of less welcoming communities online, and I don't know, it's been really wonderful.
Definitely, what I've seen from talking to a load of archers in the last month is that there's barely any very competitiveness between you. Maybe there is, I'm not sure, but from talking to 4 or 5 of you already, like, you are all so supportive of one another, and as in, like, it's not competitive because you're all part of this community of like all you love,
Like,
unlike in football. Yeah, like in football, or where the fans hate each other for being part of a different club, like, you'd never see a City and a Liverpool fan eat dinner together because it's absurd sounding. But you guys, you come from all different backgrounds, and yet you're all friendly, you're all friends with one another, you all make friends when you go on these trips with one another. It's mad.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's definitely people that like to compete in the traditional scene, but even then, it's a different story. And I think it comes down to the nature of traditional archery in particular, and it's one of the things I find appealing about it. It's you get rewarded for your success more than you're punished for your failures. You're not hitting X after X after X and then missing 4 or 5 shots and just maybe you'll hit that paper cup once, and you're like, yes, finally, I can go home, And it's really you're just competing a bit with yourself more than anyone, just to keep improving. And it's one of those things that you can just keep improving. Whereas I don't know, the people that shoot compound bows go stumping very often. Is there much challenge in hitting a tree stump with a compound bow? Like, not a lot, I imagine.
Not really.
Well,
it depends. Like, I know some people who do compound and they're like, they'd have the same reaction when they hit something as a traditional archer would. It's like, way! And then there's others where if they hit the kill, they're nearly going home crying because they've lost for the day.
So it is a mindset, definitely.
It is a mindset.
It's not a sickness of the equipment, is it?
No.
It's you can shoot a compound bow and just enjoy it. And to be honest, like speaking of that, like this lockdown, because I got to the range for the first time in over 3 months today.
Wow.
And that was great. But it's been a long break, and I live in an apartment, so I haven't been able to shoot any arrows really. But I think there's some benefits in taking a break like that, because I was just so glad to be back. That I wasn't so bogged down in working on some issue that, I mean, all the issues are still there. They're even worse actually, but like I'm just so glad to be back that sometimes a break can really refresh you like that, and you just remind you that there's no point doing any of these things unless you find a way to enjoy it.
Well, that's pretty true. My experience be pretty similar. Like, I haven't been able to practice that much, but when I have, it's been great. Obviously I haven't been posting because no one wants to see me shoot in my back garden for 3 months.
You did post one of you shooting that cat, man. That was pretty cool. Nah, kidding.
When you live in an apartment, seeing people shoot in their backyard is like, you might as well be standing on top of some mountain in the wilderness. Like, it's
sorry if that was a soft spot.
But it's been getting a little more relaxed in Melbourne at least, and I think we'll been able to go out camping and hiking again, and things are looking like they're getting back to normal, the new normal.
I hope there is no new normal. Hope it's just normal again one day.
You just want normal again? You didn't think normal was like shit? You did.
Well, I mean, like, going around with a few
years.
Yeah. It surprises me how many people are so keen to return to work. And like, going to work was terrible. Going to uni was a horrible chore, and now I just save all that time.
Me, Dara, and Thomas, we're all going to college for the first, and we're all obviously looking forward to it. So I guess it's not like I'm dying to go back to work or something. I am, but no, I really want to be in college, and just the idea of like having to do it from home doesn't sit very well with me.
No. Yeah, that's fair enough. I took a long time doing my first degree, my music degree, and swore I'd never go back, but I just done my first semester of my master's, and pretty much did it all from home, over Zoom.
Well done.
Classes online, so that I didn't mind it too much at all. But yeah, I think think it's because I just I'm so over uni and really don't want to be there. But if it was all over again, I can see the social aspect as well. What are you guys studying?
Well, me and Jared are actually going to do the same course. We're both doing media studies.
They're going to do the same course in the same college.
Yeah,
we didn't plan that together.
We actually didn't plan that at all. No, yeah.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Well,
Conspirators.
At the same time, I could be going over to TU to do film production.
Yeah,
cool.
And I'm going to be studying marine biology in Galway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Nah, man, it's just a bunch of fish.
That's like me saying, "Oh yeah, it's just a bunch of fucking platforms for you."
Yeah, but sure, they're always they're constantly changing,
They're always changing, man.
Yeah,
the fish are the same.
Yeah, Thomas, have you ever seen
a
shark?
fish changing, man?
Did you ever see the shark? Yeah, they are actually. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's your fault, Thomas, because you won't stop fucking driving everywhere.
Yeah.
Don't know how to drive.
Killing them, Thomas.
Yeah,
killing them, Thomas.
Evolution isn't real. I don't know.
But like to what you're saying there, like it's a chore. It was a chore to go out and do your job before. I feel like now it's more of a chore to like stay home and just find something to do.
It sucks.
I'd often find myself stuck in my room thinking like, oh yeah, I'll play a bit of PS4. Nah, that'll get boring. I'll watch Netflix. Nah, that'll get boring.
It got so bad we started a podcast.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And for some reason it still hasn't gotten boring yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to adapt. You got to adapt. Yeah, you got to find a way to use that time. I mean, just the travel time alone. Like, I'd save 3 hours in commute time just getting to and from university by not going in, and it's not even that far away. It's just how slow public transport moves in Melbourne, but I realized I've got to find something else to do in that time, and the hard part was we were locked down, and I couldn't, you couldn't go and use that time productively. I think were you guys locked down in?
Yeah, no, we
where
were.
You were?
Yeah, we were locked down.
We've been locked down.
We got locked down in I think the 13th of March, and we're still in that kind of.
Yep.
No,
still
about
in the quasi.
Like I seen Dara for the first time there 2 days ago.
In first time in 7 months, because I was over in Australia before February. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, he arrived and the bushfire started, and he left, and they stopped. So,
for some reason, then Ireland had coronavirus as soon as he came back. Weird, right?
Listen, it was on the other side. When I was in Australia, the bushfires were on the other side of the country.
Then how come you were right beside one, man?
Yeah, man.
It was literally in your house.
That was just a stray. No, that was a stray one. That wasn't like the whole big massive ones were.
Yeah, stray bushfires, man.
It was a stray bushfire.
The old stray following you home.
And they exist. They exist. Stray bushfires.
Oh, man,
They're nothing to fuck with, man.
No, man. Yeah, we believe you. Yeah.
Well, Thomas, have you ever been in a bushfire?
No, I haven't because I've never started one.
I didn't think so. Shut your mouth, man. Horrible.
Were you affected by the bushfires in any way?
No.
No, you're okay.
Not in Melbourne. Yeah, I mean.
Good to hear, man.
Yeah, they're really really bad this year. Yeah, scary stuff. And like the city was blanketed in smoke for days, but
that sounds horrible.
Such a big place, and these fires can be so big, but in rural areas, but they just it was not a lot of fun to watch that unfold.
Yeah, that's fair.
But just on to the next adventure, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
We had Jaden Irving on recently. Ninja Warrior.
Fuck.
Thankfully, he wasn't affected either. Yeah. He's from Australia. He wasn't affected. Thank God. So, I suppose the fire is a bit like the virus. It doesn't care who you are.
Yeah.
It's going to try to kill you.
Yeah. I mean, who knows, man? Who knows?
Just remember the pictures, video over there.
What's that?
It's just absolutely horrible. Just like I remember seeing like pictures and videos and stuff on the news when I was over in Australia, and Jesus Christ, like.
It's horrible. I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I've been lucky enough never to experience anything like that. It's crazy stuff, and
not fun to deal with.
It started very early, and then viruses, and then I worry. The trend seems to be like looking back romantically at horrific things that happened at the time, and thinking, gee, remember George Bush? Wasn't that guy hilarious? He wasn't that bad. Remember, like, what horrific things are going to happen to the point where we say, remember coronavirus? That wasn't that bad. Like,
oh my god,
fucking zombie apocalypse there.
And everyone, as soon as someone mentions it, like in about 5 years, if someone says the words 2020, everyone's gonna have like a fucking flashback and just be like, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, well, that's the best case scenario. See, that's the terrifying realization I'm having, right? Let's hope that's the case. Let's hope we don't mention 2020, trying to conjure up pleasant memories of the past, and how I'm getting a little bit dire here. It's late at night, I've had a few wines.
Perfect mood for a podcast.
Let's just hope from July until
12 o'clock
December.
in the morning. I'm already on my third.
Yeah, let's just hope from July to December it's just like some amazing things happen.
Yeah, it
so
could
we
happen.
Can just be like, 2020 wasn't all that bad.
Yeah. I seem
hopefully.
to remember as a child being, convinced that there would be more superheroes, like doing good. But there's only supervillains. Is what I.
Yeah.
We need a Batman, Where's
Elon Musk,
the
man.
one Batman?
Elon Musk is Batman.
Elon Musk is technically Batman. Oh man.
I mean, he's pretty close.
Well, I mean, you see a bit better in the dark, so
there.
maybe you should be Batman.
Yeah.
He's missing the horrific backstory.
No, I don't want that responsibility,
Elon Musk is just...
Really seems like a lot of work being Batman.
Normal man by day. They call him the Dark Archer by night.
I seen a thing today, and it was like if someone working for Bruce Wayne called him Batman at the dinner table with like a bunch of other people, and he just has to pretend like he didn't hear it.
Like Batman in front of like loads of people.
Hey Batman! Shit.
That's hilarious.
I had a question, but there you just put me off.
Man, shut up. Talking about superheroes, that's what I'm going to focus on.
Actually, speaking of superheroes and movies, whatever, what do you think about the depiction of archery in different movies or so on? Did you see the recent Robin Hood movie?
Oh, was that the one where Lars Anderson helped out?
Yep, that guy.
Yeah, I didn't see that dumpster fire of train wreck of a movie. I don't know. Like, I mean, don't judge a movie by its trailer, but that thing looked horrific. I don't know. Was it any good?
It was okay.
Was it really?
A lot of people
That's
like
the one with Taron Egerton in it. No,
man, I heard it was garbage. What?
This one with Taron Egerton.
Yeah, I heard it was horrible.
Yeah, I heard it wasn't that good as well, actually.
Well, you have to watch it to make your choice, I suppose.
I do. Yeah, I have not seen it. That is an important disclaimer. No, I don't know. Like, I can't really remember the last sweet archery, like, you know, I just can't.
Please make a film with actual archery, because archery in film is depicted as, is these people, 1 second at a time shooting 20 bows and hitting every target. It's not accurate.
Like you see Hawkeye and you think archers can hit everything.
Yeah.
You see Brave.
Hawkeye and Jared thinks, God damn, he's the best Avenger.
He is the best Avenger. Andy, back to this.
I don't even know the Avengers, but he is obviously the best because none of them have bows but him, right? That's all I know.
Exactly.
He's the guy with the bow. Yeah, they're all lame compared to the guy with the bow.
They got lasers. He's a bow, and he's still better.
Billionaire, and he has a flying suit. Nah, bow and arrow, well better.
Does he have a bow?
What?
I don't think so.
I mean, he could. If he wanted to.
Well, put up or shut up. I want to see a bow. What about Rambo? He used you can buy the commemorative bear archery Rambo takedown. Looks pretty ugly. I gotta admit. And I heard that movie was really, really bad. But once again, I haven't seen it. Can't say.
Sylvester Stallone is an absolute beast of a man.
He's
like 70-something, and he is still...
Can't argue with that. He's still making crazy action movies. One man army. He broke his
neck in Expendables.
He did what?
He broke his neck. He broke his neck in Expendables.
Oh, he did.
Wasn't he like 50 or 60 when he was filming that as well?
I think
he was 60.
Stallone, Expendables neck.
He forgot his shower support stool and slipped over. He's old.
Action hero Sylvester Stallone broke his neck while filming a fight scene with wrestler co-star Stone Cold Steve Austin in his latest movie.
Oh my god.
The Rocky star has revealed he needed emergency surgery and a metal plate inserted in his neck.
Oh my god.
After the accident on the set of Expendables.
I want to see shaky cell phone footage of The Rock suplexing Sylvester Stallone like headfirst into the pavement. No, it's all right. I'm all right. I'm just walking up. I'm just gonna walk it up. It's good. I'm all right.
Fuck you, man.
That was
hospital, man.
That is fucking good.
That was the best impression I've ever heard. Now talk with me for the rest of the episode.
The Rock is just over there being The Rock.
He's a sitting duck for impressions. Doesn't.
Yeah.
He's like Christopher Walken. Anytime you watch an impressions video, like
Stone Cold Steve Austin broke Sylvester Stallone's neck.
The first 10, it's like always you'll have Sylvester Stallone and you'll have Christopher Walken. Like both their voices. As soon as someone does an impression, you don't even have to say their name. If someone goes, I don't know where we're going with this. Yeah, like, if someone's like talking like that, you're like, oh yeah, that's Christopher Walken, like just straight away.
You mean exactly like you talked just then, or like?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, usually they'll say the cowbell thing. They'll be like, this song needs more cowbell.
What I got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. Fuck this! That's just such a classic. Will Ferrell in that. Oh my god! I can't keep a straight face. I must have seen it 1,000 times. It's when he's getting in that guy's face with the cowbell. That's the most aggressive cowbell playing. I've seen quite a bit, Yeah, it's.
I can't believe we're doing fucking Christopher Walken impersonation.
I didn't think you'd be so good at them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's getting late.
I only have one good impression, and I'm not going to do it just in case I offend you.
Oh, really?
I do a fairly decent Australian accent.
Oh, gee. Well, that won't offend me. I have to hear it. Fairly decent. Let's hear it.
Let's go.
It's easier to say like words that have O in it, like now. Okay.
Oh, do you want? That's not bad. That's all right. What about say I left my car in Wagga Wagga, and the Sheilas won't be back until they go to the bottle-o. Repeat after me.
Okay. All right. So what was it? I'm just like trying to analyze it. I'm like,
I left my car in Wagga Wagga.
All right. I left my car in Wagga Wagga.
All right. Now say it like an Australian. Oh, hang on.
I left my car in Wagga Wagga.
Not bad. Actually, that's kind of pretty refined, man. That's almost a Melbourne-ish Australian accent, you know. I've heard the hard thing about the Australian accent is that you're doing less.
Yeah.
It's such a lazy accent that you're not putting extra, embellishment on it. You're just stripping it right back.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, that's it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there are words that have less than one syllable, if that's possible. You know? It's like Australian managed to shorten words beyond the syllable. And the closest accent I've found, I think, is like I think it's the Boston accent. Listen to how like a guy from Boston says pasta. Oh, my car. It's that those two words in Boston and broad Australian, they're practically identical. Yeah, it's the lazy R and the hard A.
Yeah, no, I always get like confused and put like Kiwi mannerisms in my Australian accent as well, which just makes it 10 times worse.
Oh, Kiwi accent. It's very difficult.
It is. It's very weird. Like it's hard
quite
to do.
Subtle. It's very subtle. You
wouldn't notice it until they say something like very stereotypically Kiwi. So like if they pronounce their I like an
Yeah, like when you say, "Oh, get me something cold out of the chili bin."
Yeah, exactly.
Chili bin.
I shot with a guy in America last year, Regan Walters. In World Archery, he holds like a record, like a world record. Brilliant guy. But
yeah.
No, he's a Kiwi, and oh my god, I love the guy. But it was so weird the first time I heard him talk. It sounds really weird. It sounds like a bit like a Welsh accent.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Welsh sounds weird too.
Yeah.
I can see how they're similar. Yeah, they're both weird sounding accents. But yeah, New Zealand is great accent and
how's your Irish
fantastic place. Oh, it's just garbage. Like, potato. That's all I got. I got it's terrible, man. I can't do it. See, that's one you really have to practice. And I doubt it. I love accents. I really do. It's something similar to, about music, about mimicking melodies and inflections and I love going to a foreign place with a different accent and just, really examining it and trying to get it down, and for a few weeks after I'll have it really good and I'll be just irritating everybody by busting it out every time I can, and then it just gets lousy. But I haven't been to Ireland yet, so I'll have to immerse myself in the accent.
I think the best example I've seen of like Kiwi accents is there was this ad when I was over in Australia for like a mattress company.
Yeah,
I was like sleeping duck mattress, and it's like a couple, and one of them's a Kiwi and one of them's Australian, and the guy's just like, "That's the best night's sleep And I'm like, bruh, it's so bad, like, and you can instantly tell, like, oh my god. And I showed it to my brother, and like, who's just like never heard Kiwi accents or anything, and like he'll just randomly come up to me and be like, "Good night, sleeping duck mattress," and I'm like, "Please."
Have you ever watched the Big Les Show?
Oh,
No.
Jesus. Fuck off with that shit.
Oh no, don't mention the Big Les.
Oh, yeah.
The dumbest
Where I
shit ever.
learned most of my Australian culture.
What's it called?
The Big Les Show.
Big Les Show. Thomas, look it up there.
I'm looking it up now, yeah.
It's actually fairly funny. It's like this really shittily drawn animation in like Microsoft Paint.
Oh,
it's Australian.
yes. I think I know what you're talking about.
Did the guys who animated that, did they also make the Rick and Morty thing, the Australian one?
No,
I doubt
think
it.
no.
Are you
No,
sure?
There wasn't. There was another one. There's another thing that's like a Big Les Show. It's called like Marty and Michael, I think it is,
Yeah.
or something like that. And
Yeah.
they made the same thing. Maybe it's not Marty and Michael. I could be wrong. No,
Oh, no, I
Marty and
think
Michael.
you're-
No, they're two Australian fellas who do like.
Oh, they're pranks and stuff.
Yeah, they like prank each other.
Mm.
I can't remember it. Hold on. If I look up the video, I know one of the titles of the videos. It's called Siggy Butt Brain, and if I look that up, I'll definitely get it.
Yeah, the guy who makes Big Les Show is called Jared, right?
Damo and Darren, that's it.
Mm.
Yeah, I know exactly. Oh my god.
Damo
Yeah, I
and
think
Darren
they've actually got a. They turned that into an animated series that's playing on Australian television
Wait, what?
as we speak.
That is mad.
I think they.
Jesus,
Yeah,
what is that?
This is just. It rings too real, to be honest.
Yeah.
It cuts deep. This kind of shit. I can only handle it.
Yeah, I think in that episode they're just at like a train station. He's like, "Oh yeah, nah, man, you've got a shiggy bat, Brian.
That was
You
pretty
Brian,
accurate.
shiggy bat."
Yeah.
Back off, man. I'm like,
You just like, I just had to deal with that exact dude at the train station. You know, I don't want to come home and see it animated in great detail. Yeah, it's very accurate. It's very accurate. So much so that it somewhat loses its humor.
kind of scary.
Yeah.
Reliving past events.
I mean, I'm sure there's equivalent characters in all cultures. That's just
Yeah, for us it's the Hardy Bucks.
Oh yeah.
okay.
We had those guys on, and we're having another one on soon.
Oh, cool.
So stay tuned, everybody.
No, I love. I'm a big fan of animation. Yeah, always used to videotape, The Simpsons in the 90s off the
Same.
telly and
someone drew you in the style of Simpsons, didn't they?
obsessively. And yeah, that was
Did they actually?
my friends of
so
mine.
cool.
Is there anywhere I'd be
had
able to find that?
done. It's really fun. Yeah, it's on somewhere further down on my Instagram. Definitely from about November last year.
November last.
Yeah, love The Simpsons.
See when this was. This was March 4th. Okay. Oh, geez, you're very active on your Instagram. Yeah.
No, he's very active.
Yeah, that's really good, man.
I just try to post fairly regularly.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's cool.
Do you guys reckon he looks a bit like Keanu Reeves and Ryan Reynolds combined?
Holy shit! Oh my god, I never even thought about that.
I said that to you before, and you didn't believe me.
Just a little bit now, yeah.
See it? I can't unsee it. Wow. I must say,
that's weird. I get
combination of those two people, you're one blessed man.
I get Ryan Reynolds, but I don't see it, to be honest. I think you're all blinder than I am.
Oh, man,
I used to get
stuntable.
Tigger from Winnie the Pooh when I was in high school. Something about the grin. I don't know. Or maybe it's just the unbridled enthusiasm. Tigger's always fucking ready to go, right? He's the party animal of that group for sure.
I don't see the resemblance.
Number one, you're not animated.
Yeah, number two, you're not some weird fucking tiger.
Oh god. You should tweet it at Ryan Reynolds and see what he thinks.
Yeah, man, he probably.
I've seen some person. Do you know the people tweet out like, "Oh yeah, day one of trying to get someone else, like some celebrity, to tweet at me." Someone was like, "Day one of trying to get Ryan Reynolds to tweet at me," and he tweeted him back. He was like, "What you want?" Like day one. I was like, "God damn it, Ryan Reynolds."
Not a lot on his plate, obviously, at that time. Just going to get back to some random tweets that's been mounting.
There, your mic.
Yeah, it's better.
That is so horrible.
No, complete fuck up, man.
Oh, don't worry about it, Thomas. Your day will come now that you have the same mic.
No, because I have good internet. It's the difference, man.
And it's not the internet.
My mic is off a boom pole. Talking quality over here.
Man, I'll boom your pole off your head, right?
My mic looks like it's made out of plastic, and if anybody was to step on it, it looks like it would break.
Man, it is made out of plastic, right? Shut up. Don't act like you don't know it is. The top of it is metal.
Is it?
Do you have any big plans for after this, to go shoot in different countries or so on?
Oh, I'd love to do a little tour and shoot some arrows with everyone. That would be awesome. Yeah.
Nocturnal Archery tour, that'd be kind of cool.
The Nocturnal Archery tour, yeah, it would be great. And it's going to happen. There's lots of get-togethers and things like that, but also it'd just be wonderful to meet everyone. And there's a lot of ground to cover, but there's plenty of time for that. At the moment, like you guys, just got to get uni out of the way, and and then who knows, man? It'd be a wonderful thing to travel with archery and something I'd really like to do, but we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if it interests you or if you're competitive at all. There's the next year, the European Championship got cancelled for France. Now it's been changed to the World Championship for next year for IFIA. If you're under, are you under World Archery? I'm pretty sure you'd be able to shoot there.
Yep, I am, but I'm just not really I am competitive. That's a lie. But when it comes to archery,
you got to give everyone else a chance. Man, you're too good.
He is. But
that's
no.
it. That's totally it. That's really, thank you for saying that. I was too humble to
tell him.
Say that.
Tell George you want to give him a chance. You want him to let him be the champion. Come on.
No, I mean, I'd love to give it a go, and even without there's definitely classifications for vision impaired archers, but there's just not the numbers to make it competitive. But maybe in the future, a bit of competition would be fun, and it'd be certainly be interesting.
Yeah.
That would be good luck.
It would be.
Otherwise, it was supposed to be in Australia. Only the Europeans grabbed it.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that would have made things a little more convenient. But is that a
Sorry to steal
3D? Yeah, no worries. Is that a 3D tournament, or what kind of tournament is that? I don't really even know that much about the different kinds of tournaments.
And there's loads of different categories, and about
Okay.
2,000-3,000 people show up, and we all shoot. Most people aren't there to shoot competitively, but obviously there are a few, but they'd be in like sighted or stuff like barebow.
Wow, cool. And just out of interest, like what sort of distances do you shoot in those comps?
Nothing beyond 60.
Okay.
And 60 would be pretty rare. I remember the shortest ever shot was 5 yards, and string walking, that is so weird.
Right.
You're basically holding onto your bottom limb. Yeah. No, it's really weird to shoot like that. I'll be honest, I missed. No one trains to shoot 5 yards.
Well, that is an advantage of instinctive shooters, shooting very close, and that's one of the ways that you train good instinctive shooting is to start stupidly close, 2.5 meters, and just start to align your body that way. And I find obviously it's sights are a huge advantage, but there are advantages also in not having sights or even systems, especially I think when it comes to hunting, although I'm still a complete novice in that area. But yeah, like that's really, really interesting. And gap shooting is what you tend to do, or do you have string walking, or do you have a few different methods?
Yeah, instinctive archery is honestly a gem. I would love to do it again. I guess kind of the idea of instinctive is we've been doing archery for so long that it's kind of built into our bodies to understand how it works and to do it. Like, archery has been a part of human civilization for over 10,000 years. So it's not hard to imagine that there's something wired somewhere that means we can naturally do it or learn it easier.
Yeah. I mean, it's bloody hard though.
God, yeah, it's hard.
Like, it's not like it comes that naturally. I do think there's some merit in that statement, but I think humans are like just particularly good at judging physics on a really advanced level in ways you don't you just take for granted, like the idea that when you watch, a corner kick in football and you can put your head where that you can predict the trajectory of that ball. I mean, it's just like there's so much to be calculated. I think that's the instinct that we have, and then applying it to something like archery or football is like that's when it takes a lot of practice. And I don't know. I keep waiting for it to feel like I keep waiting for those genetic memories of archery to be enlightened within me and everything just fall into place, but just ain't happening. And I find I don't know.
Yeah, look, we don't know.
Yeah, it's simple, but it's frustratingly difficult, and that's what keeps me coming back to it.
Yeah,
right, Thomas. So we're gonna prove them wrong, and tree is in the DNA, and we'll outshoot your definitely, and probably get absolutely schooled by.
I'm gonna have to make you guys do a bit of archery. You still have.
I doubt it.
It'll be done.
It's a pain I know all too well, Jared. I try to rope everyone I know into archery, and it's just don't understand why it's not more takers. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, my girlfriend's been wanting to do it since
I'm more of a beer pong fella
for
myself.
ages, but hasn't got into it.
You can play archery pong with beer, maybe. I actually
shoot it into like a bucket.
See, I won't do that. I just end
I've
up
heard.
shooting Lara.
Touche.
I believe archery is the national sport of Mongolia, I believe, and they have these intense archery festivals, but they also drink quite festively, and it just becomes more and more dangerous. Because I thought they're probably using traditional bows from that area, like Mongolian horse bows and stuff like that. But no, they're all like the latest Hoyt compound bows with laser sights.
Yeah.
And they have a good old 3-4 day archery festival with loads of drinking, just shooting into
I feel like the fact
in all directions. Sounds fun.
Like the fact that archery is like the main sport of Mongolia. Terrifying. Considering like what Mongolia was in the past, like it's like holy shit.
They spanned from South Korea to Ukraine and nearly to Finland. They were huge.
Yeah, it's a big expense.
They did most of that with bow and arrows, so
that would be kind of scary seeing a load of, just down your field one day and seeing a load of Mongolians, come over the hill with bow and arrows.
Mongolian warriors on horseback with flaming bow and arrows, bro.
Yeah, I'd have several questions for my local representative. I'd like to talk about the Mongolian horde I saw the other day. Trampled my... What are you going to do? Anyway,
I think that's a good way to end this podcast.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good sign. Yeah, good sign, guys.
So it was great to have you on. You were brilliant. Stick around at
Such
the
a
end and have
pleasure
a quick
to
chat
be
after.
Sure. Awesome.
So if
Thanks,
anyone wants
guys.
If anyone wants to look you up or find you or follow you, how can they do it?
Yeah, just find me on Instagram under Nocturnal_Archer.
There you
and
go.
That's really the best place to find me.
And give them a follow.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on, man. It's great having you.
Yeah, thanks man for getting on.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
For anyone who watched, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell your grandma about the podcast, and
tell your grandma.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Take it handy, lads.